This is the plaintiff, Ronald Sweeten. He says the defendant, his ex-fiancée, had an abrupt change of attitude towards him, kicked him out of the house without explaining, and basically turned into a beast. The woman just went crazy on him, won't return his calls, and he wants his engagement ring back, and is suing her here and now for $5,000, the cost of the ring. This is the defendant, Pandora Simmons. She says the ring the plaintiff gave her was certainly not an engagement ring, that's for sure. In fact, he would always tell her, getting married is like committing suicide. She can't believe this guy would stoop so low as to now call the piece of jewelry he gave her an engagement ring, because he constantly told her it was not. Return it? No way. She's accused of ringing up a lawsuit.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated, come to order. Girls all over the place. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Ronald Sweeten. Ronald Sweeten, you are suing Pandora Simmons, your former girlfriend, for $5,000, according to your former fiance, according to you, his former girlfriend, for $5,000 for an engagement ring that you say you gave her and she's refusing to repay you, correct?
That's correct,
What's
ma'am.
going on?
Well, it's quite simple and straightforward. I bought the engagement ring for $5,000. We was engaged to be married. And one day,
How did you two meet?
well, actually, I knew her over 40 years.
40
But
years?
40 years. But
When did you guys meet?
we met.
What grade?
No, it wasn't a grade. We knew each other through the family.
Okay.
But we didn't communicate or
What's the age
socialize.
difference? What's the age difference between you guys?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. According to you, you guys met when?
At the age of 9, I met him when I was 9 years old.
And do you remember him from then?
Yes.
As
He
a matter-
was the very first boy I had a crush on.
He was the very first boy you had a crush on? Aw, and how did you run into him again?
At a Rick James Freak Fest.
Freak Fest? Okay, and that was how long
A
ago?
memorial last year in August.
Okay,
We actually got together in September.
okay.
And believe it or not, that things happen quick. We was living together in September.
You were living together already? You just reconnected in August?
And we were connecting and living
I mean,
together.
but you hadn't seen each other in the 40 years?
No.
Okay, so it's not like you really, well, we knew each other 40 years, might as well move in together. It's like you didn't know each other those 40 years. All right, and you move in together. Are there, do either of you have children?
Yes,
Small ones?
yes.
How old's your child?
He's 3.
Oh, okay. And then, so you move in
Right?
to where she's living.
Correct?
And what happened?
One day she just flipped the script, told me give her key back.
But why?
That's the script she flipped. I don't
But
know.
why?
I don't know. It was strange to me, just like it's strange to you.
When did you guys break up?
That's when we broke up.
When? I don't know when that is. What date are you referring to?
March, end of March, last of
Okay,
March.
now you're suing about a ring that was purchased when?
October.
Okay, so you move in September and you bought her an engagement ring in October?
Absolutely. Yes, I did.
Doesn't that sound crazy to you?
In retrospect, yes. Right
in
now,
retrospect, no, it sounds crazy. The rest
sometimes
of us like
we do
during.
things.
Okay.
We do things as we
Why
feel.
can't you just be in love and enjoy it? Why do you have to get engaged?
There was a little pressure involved. She put a little pressure on
She
me.
put pressure on you. She knew you 20 minutes.
Not too much because I wasn't involved too. So
Okay.
it was one of those miracle things.
How'd that work out for you?
How did what work out?
The miracle thing.
Oh,
Because I
it-
can't help but
it
notice
worked
that you're
all right
litigants.
until,
I
till
can't
she
help but
flipped.
notice that you're litigants on people's court. I don't think that miracle thing was quite the miracle. Okay.
It worked out all right until she flipped.
It worked out all right for a few months, but not a lifetime. So the idea was a lifetime, right?
Right, it was.
Okay,
initially.
maybe you got to go through things a little bit slower in order to have something last a lifetime, right?
Yes, sometimes.
So according to you, you buy the engagement ring in October. Do you have the receipt for the ring?
This is the receipt for the.
Did you bring the ring?
No,
This is the amount paid. That's the proof.
All right, what's going on? He says he gave you an engagement ring and you dumped him. And so you have to give the engagement ring back.
okay, Your Honor, sir. Your Honor, ma'am. When we first got together in September, we were so happy. I was so happy that I thought I was actually going to die. It was really not a normal situation. Excuse me. When we got together, we were so happy that we would have did anything for one another. And because of my history, I was a little afraid that maybe he wasn't for sure or for real.
What do you mean by your history? Prior breakups,
You know, the
mean?
breakups, right.
Okay.
So I wanted him to basically prove to me that he was sincere about the relationship.
Okay.
And so I was like, what are we going to tell our family? Because our mothers are best friends or were best friends when they were alive. And my father married his aunt.
Oh my goodness.
So my brother is his first cousin. So it's like we have history.
Yeah.
And this was like, I always called them my family because they were.
Okay.
So once we got together, he was like, well, if I put a diamond on your finger, then that will shut everybody up. And I was like, yeah, right, he ain't gonna buy me no diamond. But then we went to Jared's. I was like, just buy me a promise ring. And he was like, what's a promise ring? I said, I don't know. I just hear people saying a promise ring. But my taste was a little more expensive than what a promise ring.
These litigants were together, but that's over. And now the issue was the ring the plaintiff gave the defendant, an engagement ring or just a garden variety gift. Let's listen.
I was looking at diamonds that cost about $3,000 to $4,000.
Okay.
He was like, this is a hell of a promise. Excuse the language.
Okay.
So,
Do you have a picture of the ring?
no.
Do you have a picture of the ring?
I brought it, but I...
No.
Do you have a picture from a brochure so I can just see what we're talking about? Do you have the receipt for the ring?
Yes.
May I see the receipt for the ring?
Well,
And why wouldn't you
Here's the
just bring
receipt.
the ring for me today? Why would you not bring the ring? Other than the obvious reason, which is you're not
When I
ready to let
asked-
go of this relationship and you don't want me to order you to return it, because that's how it looks.
well, that may
Have
be.
you moved on?
I don't know. I asked him if
Have you moved on?
Have I moved on from the relationship? Well, how could I not? Because I couldn't respond to him. I couldn't call, text. I had no communication.
Have you moved on?
No.
Why wouldn't you answer the guy's texts or calls?
Because every time we would talk, he would start out with, why are you doing this? I hate you. And I don't want to hear that. I don't want
That's
to
not
hear
the
that the
case.
man I love hate me. So I would hang up the phone before I would carry on the conversation. I'm still in love with him. I mean, he was the best thing ever happened to me.
Let me just ask you a question, woman to woman. If that's the case, why would you make the guy sue you? Why would you
I
not
didn't
just
make
like,
him sue me.
Well,
I mean-
why would you wait for when you get that court notice? Why wouldn't you say, I'm just curious. Why wouldn't you say, okay, come on over and pick it up?
He's mean.
Or something like something that's more conducive to getting back together rather than making the guy go through with suing you.
Ronald is a very mean person
Well, then why are you still in love with him?
because he has other sides of him. It's just
How is he a mean person?
when I think he thought that I was playing games with him or something in the relationship. He didn't think I was as serious as I was, and so my mind was.
Were you
telling me-
engaged or weren't you?
I'm sorry.
Were you engaged or weren't you?
When I asked him several times for us to start planning our wedding and set a date, he would overlook the question. I think that we started out in that direction. And once he saw that,
Once he saw that what?
I'm a shopaholic. I have, issues with shopping. And
Where'd this come from?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So by not bringing the ring to court, is that evidence that it's an engagement ring?
Yeah, that should be evidence. I mean, she knew she was going to court, so by not bringing it, she purposely withheld that ring.
You buying that?
I think so. I mean, she should have to walk back, not drive, but walk back and get the ring, come back to court.
Or can the judge just say, hey, this is the time for the court, and we're going to rule that it's an engagement ring and he gets the money?
I agree that the judge was correct.
The judge hasn't done it yet.
No.
But,
Yes.
okay, the answer is yes. Going inside the courtroom.
You're a shopaholic.
because he's,
Would you fight about that? Why are you bringing that up?
we did fight about it. Like, things like when I went to the grocery store and I would buy like $700 worth of groceries, but there was no meat. He would be like, what did you purchase? I'm like, you see what I bought. But it would be no meat, no, it was things like that. And he would get aggravated with me because, as you see, I'm not as thorough as he is. I don't have all my paperwork.
Well, maybe you're not compatible. I mean, sometimes love, it doesn't just solve everything.
Maybe we're not compatible, but once you give your heart to someone like I gave him.
Well, it sounds like if you're telling me, I wanted to go forward with planning the wedding, and he would say what?
He wouldn't say anything. He just
And he would just not say anything. You don't sound like somebody with a promise ring. You sound like somebody with an engagement ring. But you're busy telling me it's not because you've apparently researched the law and you know that if it's an engagement ring, it's a gift in contemplation of marriage. And if the marriage doesn't happen, you have to return it. Because if you tell me it's a gift, you got to prove to me it's a gift. And while I was questioning you, you said that you were trying to plan the wedding, but that's not a promise ring. A promise ring is something that you usually see in high school. And it's and somebody can say it's just it's romantic. It's not the same. This is different. You're moving in together. You're wearing it proudly to your family to explain why you're moving in together so there's no questions, and you want to plan a wedding. That is an engagement ring.
Your Honor, sir, I bought him a ring as well.
Are you counterclaiming? Did she buy you a ring?
She told me to put a ring on my finger. I guess she did buy it.
Well, did she or didn't she?
She told me to wear this ring.
What, what, as a promise? Because you're both wearing rings that look like engagement rings, talk like engagement rings, walks like engagement rings.
This had nothing to do with that ring.
Okay.
One day she said, could you just wear this?
This is before the engagement ring.
It was after the engagement ring.
What? Show me the receipt for the purchase of his ring. Your ring was bought in October. When was your ring for him bought?
I'm not for sure.
Oh, okay. It says here
after.
September 29. Carved wedding band. Did you return her the ring she gave you?
No.
All right, folks. I find in favor of the defendant on your claim of offset that you also bought him a ring. It's a little hard for you to say, that was an engagement ring when you're claiming there wasn't an engagement, but since I really believe there was an engagement, I know exactly what that was. I find in your favor on the claim that this is an engagement ring. The net judgment is in your favor in the amount of $4,478.02. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Jan.
Well, there were tears from the defendant at one point during this case. Come on in here. What's your state of mind right now coming out of here?
I don't know.
Explain this relationship with him. It goes back to you since you were 9 years old. Explain it.
When you had a crush on someone since you was 9 and then you get an opportunity to think about marriage and it doesn't work out, I'm sad.
And you still have a crush on him. You
Right.
said so.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I still love him. I'm still in love with him, but it's over.
Right. All right. Right down around the corner there. All right. So the plaintiff is here. I mean, you just heard what she said. What
I didn't quite hear what she said.
She said she's still in love with you. She's had a crush on you since she was 9. She was so thrilled that she had an opportunity maybe to see a future with you. What do you have to say about that?
Well, that's a strange type of love, crush, and all of that type of stuff. But
Do you feel the same way toward her?
What do you mean, do I feel the same way?
Do you love her
Yeah, I do.
right now?
Yes.
Could you see yourself having a future with her? Maybe taking that money and buying her another engagement ring?
No,
with it?
because I don't see what happened. I mean, if I had some type of clue, I really didn't want to come either. I didn't want. What am I going to do with a ring? I want to find out what happened. I don't want to walk back into the pit that I was just left. I want to know what happened. Why did you do that? Explain to me. Answer my phone call.
Right,
Text me. Just give me a clue to what's going on.
Okay. Harvey.
So the reason that an engagement ring has to be returned is that it's called a conditional gift, meaning the condition is marriage. And if the marriage isn't fulfilled, the condition isn't fulfilled, and the ring goes back. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.